Hello everyone. So let's look forward to our second session on JIRA plugin development. So if you have followed my previous session, then you'd have known that how we installed Atlassian SDK and we set up a basic project. So now we have to move forward to understand what that generated files were. So if you remember, when we ran Atlas Create Jira plugin, we had some files. Uh, uh, we had a project developed on our drive, and uh, so let's go ahead and understand what actually that command created for us, so that we can continue our Jira plugin development. So I already have this project imported inside my IDE. To familiarize you all, if you are aware about uh, the Spring frameworks, plugin development is going to be fairly easy. But if even if you are not, it's not going to be too difficult after you follow all these sessions that I'm going to create. So don't worry about that, even if you don't know the Spring framework. But if you have the overview or visibility of the Spring framework, your uh, creating Jira plugins are uh, completely uh, understanding the framework is going to be completely easy for you. So even if you don't worry about that. I'm going to walk you through everything, every single file what we have inside the project, and all those important APIs uh, uh, to develop a plugin. So okay, so let's go ahead. So and run a very important. So we have our basic plugin ready, right? Uh, so when we create ran this command Atlas create Jira plugin, this all these this file structure was created. So let's go and see the file structure clearly from here. So if you okay, great, yeah. So this is the skeleton uh, that command actually created for me. So the license, the readme files, the pom.xml file. So to create your Jira plugin, you need to have some understanding of the XML files, because XML files are really important when it comes to Jira plugin development, because there are a few really important XML files that you need to deal with. And if you are aware of the Java, then uh, Java programming, then you can understand all these what all these terms are. Basically, these are the packages that we created when we had to provide few options to create our plugin. So it also gives you a test folder where you can write your own unit test cases. We are throughout this tutorial, we are not going to worry about that, because it's not going to be a production ready plugin. The plugins are basically based on the understanding of how we are going to create the plugin, or what are the things that we are supposed to uh, write, that will help to uh, to create a complete production ready plugin. But after the tutorial, if you're planning to write a plugin for your Jira server, then make sure that you have all the classes covered with your test cases. So that's actually a good practice. Even if you don't have that, it's okay. And Atlassian don't uh, 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 in fact, if you're not going to put that in marketplace, it's completely okay if you're running in a company and you are just writing an in-house plugin. But if you are writing it for marketplace, then having test coverages would really be a good idea. But even if you don't have it, and your plugin is not breaking any functionality inside the existing Jira, then they would not mind to not your code covered by unit test cases. So that's okay if you have it. or if you don't have it. So but the best thing would be to have it. But these tutorials are not going to cover uh, writing unit test cases. So, and this folder is really important because this will help you to design and develop your UI using uh, the Atlassian UI framework. So that is called as AUI. We'll see when we start developing our plugin what actually AUI is. So let's go ahead and have a look into our project. So this is some IMF file, so you don't have to worry about this at all. This is the README. So this gives you uh, uh, a few important commands that you'd be using throughout your tutorial. Atlas run, Atlas debug, Atlas CLI. So what is the difference between this and this one? So this is really important. To understand these two commands is really important because this will help you to develop your plugin. So if you run Atlas, if you are going to use this command and press enter, it will install your plugin to a development environment, and that development environment expects you to have 2990 port free on your system. And if even there are options, there are ways you can run your Jira server on development Jira server on a different uh, port, but I'm not going to cover in our tutorial for Jira plugin development. That's altogether different stuff. If you're good with uh, uh, good with administration, you can easily do that. And the next thing is Atlas debug. So if you are in the development environment, I would suggest you to always debug if you are running your plugin using if you're developing a plugin, so that you can easily debug your code, and you can redeploy your plugin inside the Jira server. And and this 5005, you can attach this port to your Jira plugin. And Atlas CLI is basically to reinstall the plugin if after you make some changes in the backend. So when I said backend, if you are doing any changes on the velocity template, the templates that we are going to use for to develop our UI, in that case you just have to refresh your browser and it will be picked up. But if you are doing any changes in your Java code or in your XML files, you need to run this command. You need to run this, have this running Atlas CLI, and you can use PI to reinstall your plugin to pick up all the local changes that you have on your IDE. The next thing I would like to explain is with the recent version of SDK, there are options where there are ways you don't have to use the CLI Atlas CLI. You can basically skip this command, and that is altogether a different concept, and I will be talking about that thing somewhere later during our tutorial. And of course we already have gone through this Atlas help, so let's not worry about that. Right, so let's understand what this pom.xml is exactly. So this is the configuration file that your plugin needs to have. So these are the options that we provided, like version, artifact ID, group ID. So yeah, the version of the plugin that you are going to have will be managed by this. If you remember, we just left it because we don't need to manage the version right now. So it's okay to have 1.0.0.0 snapshot, but in real time you'd prefer to have like 1.1, 1.2 or something. And organization name and URL, you can set it up if you are if you are developing for marketplace. So that would be a good idea to have it. And the name of the plugin, you can modify the description. And these are the important dependencies that basically to have the Jira API for your development environment.